Where did it start?
Well, during the convention of Lakas, when Cory and Mitra broke off, and we started our own party, there was a convention. So there was a. Well, it was actually not a convention. It was a proclamation or not. It was
primary
launch. Yung launch. So I got a call from Bitay Lacson,
Okay.
and they were in Ultra.
Okay.
Said, RJ, yes, Bitay. General Ramos wants to talk to you.
Okay.
So I said, yes, hello, yeah, okay. RJ, will you put on your Barong Tagalog and bring your guitar
Okay.
and go to the Green Gate here in Ultra right now? Why? What's going to happen? Well, you're running for Senate.
Really? That was it?
Yes, last minute.
Ano? What
We
year
went to Ultra.
What year was that?
1992.
92?
Yeah, no, 92.
Talaga? Okay.
So I went to Ultra, and I didn't use my guitar, but I stood up there and was declared a president, a senatorial candidate along with the ticket.
Of then
FVR and Cory.
secretary. Talaga?
Cory and FVR, yeah.
Well, didn't you know him before? Didn't you get to know
Yes.
him before?
Not very well. I met him. Even
AFP pa.
yeah,
Sundalo pa siya.
no, just acquaintance. Yeah. But that's the time that I really got to know him.
So your impressions of him?
Yeah. Well, to me, he was always the professional soldier, gentleman soldier, and embodied the gentlemanly qualities and strong qualities of a soldier, a military man.
You were in exile through the martial law.
No, I was exiled.
Ay, yeah.
I was exiled, and I only arrived 5 days after the revolution.
5 days after.
Yes, because Marcos went after our family.
Oo nga. Yeah, but that's where I was.
Took over our steel mill.
So no interactions with the FVR during that period, I suppose, because
Yes.
you
No interactions,
were in
yeah. No
exile.
interactions.
And nakilala mo na lang siya afterwards.
Yes.
But let me clarify then. Your station,
Yes.
sa Santa Mesa ba yun?
Correct. Radyo Bandido.
Yun yung naging radyo
Correct.
bandida eh. Well,
Correct.
did you know that it was going to be used for that purpose? Tell
No.
me the story behind that.
That's an interesting story. Actually, it's in the book of Enrile. I met Enrile in New York when I was in exile.
Okay.
And he was asking if he could buy my radio station. Yung pala, he was already planning something. Just in case. Plan B. It's in his book, I think. And I said, no, it's not for sale, and like this and like that. So anyway, it remained under his because when martial law was declared, they took over
Yeah, right.
our companies. And the radio stations fell under the sequestration of Enrile.
Oh, okay.
And it so happened that that's the group that rebelled. So when Veritas was bombed,
Yeah.
they were Radyo Bandido, pinunta nila June Kithley, pinapunta si ni Father Royte sila June Kithley doon, and the St. Paul Nuns,
Yeah.
and they took over the broadcast to rally the people to EDSA. And Malacanang, it was very near Malacanang because it was in Santa Mesa.
Right.
And they could not triangulate it
Where it was broadcasting
where it was
from.
broadcasting from. Because my technician shaved the crystal from the AM transmitter. You can save the crystal
yes.
and move it closer to Veritas. Because we were next to Veritas.
Oo nga, yeah.
So, akala ng martial law forces, hinahanap nila yung Veritas ulit. Kung saan nagbo-broadcast. Pero DCRJ yun, walking distance from Malacanang yung Santa Mesa.
So you knew that it was You knew that
I was in
being
Hawaii at that time.
Okay.
I was still abroad. And I only learned about it from CNN. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So you didn't know.
No, I didn't know.
So inoccupy na lang ni na June Kitley.
No, but it was already under the control of Enrile.
Ah.
At the beginning of martial law, they took over all our corporations, and it so happened that the radio station was also taken over by the military. It was being run by the military at that time.
Okay.
The
So
faction of Enrile.
So I guess when EDSA, the People Power Revolution happened, it became an option when
Yeah, it became an option.
When Veritas was bombed.
I think he was planning that. It was in his book. That was his safeguard.
That was a happy circumstance.
Yes, a little rock and roll station that started in a backyard became the voice of democracy.
And also, well, I guess the family that had control over it, had interests over it, still played the role.
Poetic justice. I call it
that.
poetic justice.
So, how did you get to know each other?
Just in the campaign.
Talaga, sa kampanya lang talaga. So even after EDSA, you came home, no?
Yeah, yes.
After so many years in forced exile. No other meeting then?
No.
Hindi kayo nagkakilala. Talaga?
Yes.
Doon na lang sa kampanya. How did you find out why you were selected? Why he drafted you into?
Well, it was a joint decision of Cory and I think Cory was the one also doing the lineup.
And
President Cory.
And I guess there was also a connection with Governor Bitay.
Yes.
No?
Yeah. Yeah. And at that time, I was already. I came back in '86 and I started Bistro RJ and I was already quite popular. I was 41 years old at that time.
Peak.
Yeah, peak. And also victim of Marcos. So.
Yeah. Wala bang walang option. Why did you eventually accept the draft?
Kasi if I'm complaining about the government, if you're given an opportunity to do something about it, I complained about martial law. If you're given the opportunity to do something about it, so take it and see what you can do. And see what you can do for your country.
And that's
my reasoning.
Weren't you just looking back, devil's advocate? Di ba? Negosyo na lang, dito na lang ako, wag nang politika.
Well, I was of a different mindset at that time. I said, I suffered during exile. No passport.
Yeah.
They canceled our passports and no country. And I said, if I can do something for my country, there's nothing as valuable as your country. So if you can do something for your country, so you better do something. Don't just complain.
Okay. And why FVR? I mean, what really convinced you to be part of his team?
I always thought that he was a professional and that he did not abuse martial law. And he symbolized the stability that was needed during that time. Because Cory was a housewife, of course, forced into it, and she brought democracy, but somebody had to stabilize democracy.
And that was Eddie Ramos.
Yes.
Eddie Ramos, okay. So let me get back to that period again, 86 to 91, 92. You were busy re-establishing
everything.
the JACINTO group.
Yes, correct.
And FVR became chief of staff.
Yeah.
Retired the day after he became, and then the day after he was Secretary of National Defense. Did you have any inkling? Did you imagine that he would, give the presidency a shot at that time?
Not really. Not really until word started spreading when Mitra was not working out.
There you are. Okay.
Because Mitra didn't work out. So it was really I think it was natural for him to step in because he was very popular. FVR was very popular.
So may vacuum. He said something.
And then maybe somebody not politically, not a traditional politician.
Oh, nga, no, which really he was.
He was,
He was out of
He,
that. Ano.
yeah, he was out of the mode of a traditional politician.
So let me ask you, not Mitra, what about Ambassador Cojuangco? Or
Well, whether we like it or not, Danding was still identified with the Marcoses.
your kasiman, Miriam?
Miriam may not have had the personality to. We needed somebody who looked very strong. I think at that time, because we were rebuilding our democracy and our businesses and our economy. You know.
And that was where
And that
FVR
was
came into
FVR
the picture.
came in, yeah.
Okay. Let me pick your. Let me ask you to put on your businessman's hat. Where was the economy at that time?
Well, at that time that FVR ran,
91.
we were
90.
experiencing 6-hour brownouts,
Oh yeah.
days of brownouts in Mindanao. And the economy was just recovering, was starting to wake up. And really, it was really, what we needed was somebody who would really institute reforms. Can you imagine 6-hour brownouts? And we were not ready with our power requirements. Yeah.
And we were hoping to develop, but
We were hoping to develop.
no
Yeah.
energy at all.
Oh, no energy. My God.
Okay. Okay. So what was it in his program of government that appealed to you?
Well, to
as
me,
a-
it's really very simple. He had all the experience of the bureaucracy.
Okay.
He knew how the government worked, and he was all over. He was all over during his military career. He was in Mindanao. He was so he was really honed and ready for it. And he been through the revolution, and he was transparent. He was a professional. Walang agenda. Transparent, hindi corrupt politician. Ganun lang ka-assessment ko na kailangan ng Pilipinas somebody who was knowledgeable enough to lead, who didn't have any agenda.
So you said a bit earlier that you really got to know the fellow during the campaign. But tell me what you discovered about the man.
Well, he's really funny. I didn't even know how to campaign. I said, what do I do? Hi, how are you? Shake hands. Can you vote for me?
Okay.
So, our first rally was in Pangasinan.
Hometown.
Yeah,
Home
hometown of,
province.
yeah, I think it was in no, it was in Dagupan with Joe de Venecia yata. Anyway, ang daming tao. So my God, I was in shock, no? So going there, what am I going to say? We were allotted 2 minutes each.
Okay.
We were so many candidates because, you know, the Senate slate was blank at that time. We had to fill up 24. So daming kandidato.
Oo nga.
Hindi lang 12. So we had to think of what to say. And since I was known for music, on the way I said I better think of a catchy tune that everybody would be happy with. You know? So I got the tune La Bamba.
Okay.
I was thinking of it in my mind in the car going to the Gupan. Said, iboto nyo si Eddie. Boto nyo si Eddie Ramos, si Lito Osmeña. I think I'll do that, I said.
Okay.
And then, lakas ng EDSA, lakas ng tao. Gumawa ako ng jingle on the spot there.
Oh wow.
During that rally, you know.
That
So
was
tumugtog ako, nagdano kang gitara ko, sigapan lahat. And then he said, that's my theme song. He told me, that's gonna be my theme song. I remember that. No?
And that was the birth of the
Yeah.
campaign jingle?
Yeah.
Iboto niyo
Correct.
si Eddie?
Oo.
Wow.
So I had cassettes made. We issued cassettes on it. But anyway, this is very memorable. I said, Mr. President, I don't know how to campaign. What do I tell the people?
Okay.
You just jump in and swim. Sabi niya. Mag-swimming, bahala na, just swim. You'll learn, sabi niya.
Okay.
Yun
Okay.
lang. Yun ang advice niya.
And that was it.
That was it.
Well, what was he like as a campaigner? I mean,
He was very charismatic. Very charismatic.
hindi ba stiff? I mean,
medyo-
soldier,
medyo-
military type.
Yeah, medyo ano siya,
Monotonous.
medyo he was speaking slowly and stumbling sometimes. But,
Okay.
he improved very much right after that when he was speaking, and the people knew he was talking from his heart. That's important, and he was talking clearly. Although of course, sasabihin na may iba, kailangan meron kang konting, pero hindi naman kailangan yun kasi if you just look at him, you already feel stable. You already feel solid.
He gave you that, ano?
Oo,
he
may
gave you
ano pa
that.
siya, may cigar pa siya. Gumagano pa, nagbabiyahe pa yung cigar niya. From one to another. So, para ba ito hinahanap ko, at least kaya niyang patakbuhin yung bayan.
Ang laking bagay siguro nung the enigma of EDSA.
Yes.
That aura he had as
Yes.
as hero.
Correct. Very, very big.
How did you see that in the crowds, in the
Oh, yeah.
people?
They really, he was very popular.
Okay.
Very popular.
Ano yun? Suddenly you have a face to the story.
Correct. Correct. You said it. You are the symbol.
And
He would be the keeper of the flame that Cory started.
oh, okay.
Democracy would be protected.
And the jingle, how did it eventually catch
I had
on?
other songs there, but I don't remember them very much anymore. But the jingle became, it spread out. It spread out. I had cassettes made, and I also wrote some jingles for the other candidates.
Oh, okay. You didn't write one for yourself?
No, I had one. I had an Elvis Presley jingle.
Which one?
Oh, let me be your senator.
Oh,
Teddy Bear, I made it my jingle.
yeah, from Teddy Bear. Oh, nga.
Baby, let me be your loving senator. Something like that.
Oh,
Kasi
okay.
kailangan, we had to do something that they would remember us by. No? So every time, catchy na, kasi how can they remember us? You know?
Nakatulong yung ano mo talaga, ha?
Kaya yung mga
creative
iba,
side.
yung mga iba nga gusto, ako either before or after RJ, Kasi binubuhay ko yung crowd pag ako Binubuhay ko talaga with my
Oo nga, either before or after. Kasi pag alam nilang ikaw, aabangan na nila, magpe-prepare na. Pre- and post-programming.
Pre-programming.
Okay. Oh, that's a nice one. Share with us some of your other experiences. I mean, what was the 90-day hall
Wow,
like?
it was, for me it was really different. Because, but it was fun. It was fun, and we knew we were supporting somebody worth it. And we were a conglomeration of characters. You had somebody who only knew how to speak to the PCCI, Philippine Chamber of Industries, Periquet. Si Aurelien Piniquet. Periquet. We had a labor leader, Bocobo. We had Frank Chavez, who was a very flashy in suspenders. Flashy. He used to sing also.
Yeah.
He would sing also. We had Joe Romero, who's really an ambassador type personality. So how can all these people, relate to the massa? So I think some of them took my cue, and some had a basketball. Karage. Karage ba yun? Yeah, the one who became budget
secretary, right?
What's his first name again?
Guillermo.
Yeah, Karage. Yeah, he was playing the harmonica.
Wow.
He played the harmonica. Joe Romero had the basketball. So kami ang team ni FVR. Kami ang player, siya ang kapitan namin. Ito, dribble ko, bibigay ko siya ng basketball. Tatapon ko siya, oh, Joe, wag! May election donation, illegal yan. Ang saya-saya namin. Ang saya namin talaga. Si Periket, bago matulog mamayang gabi, bago pumikit, tandaan si Periket. Yun ang kanyang catch.
So, kanya-kanyang ano?
Kanya-kanyang hook.
Yeah.
Like si Bokobo. Bokobo. B for Bobo, O for Obo, C for Kobo, B for Bobo again. Mga ganon. So, naging ano kami, we had fun. We had fun. Although mahirap talaga. Kasi wala kami masyadong facilities. We didn't even have sample ballots. Mahirap. Ang hirap.
How did that make you feel? I mean, given, for example, the machinery that Speaker Mitra had, or the tremendous resources at the beck and call of Ambassador Cojuangco.
Yes.
Diba?
It was, my God, because we
Didn't you feel?
the first week I was there. I was rating The second week wala na, third week lalo bumababa na kami lahat. Dalawa na lang ang natira. Si Santa Nina Rasul and Leti. Dalawa na natira sa amin. Yung mga iba wala na, bumabagsak kami. But they could not cheat. They could not cheat enough for FVR. Against FVR.
Na hindi ba nakaka-low moral yun?
Kasi normally, pag nanalo ang presidente mo, dapat magdadala ng 4 or 5 yun.
Right.
Sa amin, wala. Wala kami. Kasi wala kami watcher. Kulang kami ng watcher. Kulang kami ng... Yung mga ibang boto ko nga hindi na bilang yung RJ. Jacinto lang na bilang. Ganon tipo. So it was disappointing, but it was also... For me, it was an excellent experience. We were the happiest bunch of losers. We made the president there. We had the president.
But you had the president who...
That was enough.
Okay. Yeah, there were only two, right? Senator Shahani and...
Re-election.
And both of them, right?
Even Frank
incumbent.
Chavez did not make it, in spite of his very colorful career.
And flashy personality.
Flashy personality.
Wala bang mga sir? This one we ask everyone Wala bang mga near-death experiences? Eroplanong pumalya yung makina, ganun din yung...
Wala, pumapasok lang yung ulan sa eroplano. At saka 7 oras papunta sa Zamboanga. We were in a military jig plane.
And you took it all in stride.
Took it all in stride. I said, boy, when I was living in the States, I would check what kind of plane I was going to ride before I would ride in a plane. This one, bahala ng Diyos. Paski saan, sasakay ako, helicopter, lahat. It was good for my soul.
Well, that's a nice one. But really, why? Because you felt FVR had the right message, was the right fellow for the job?
Yes, and it was the others were not an alternative to me, the other candidates.
So all the way.
Yeah, all
the way ang suporta. Was there were there other ways that you helped support in the campaign? I mean, of course you were running, but
yes, yung I think some of the printing, mga ganon. Sinusuporta ka din yung iba, pero we were para ba kami during a campaign period, you don't know, you're led there, here, there.
Yeah.
It's really,
it just
very
comes.
draining. Yeah.
Okay. Were you expecting to join the administration if and when he won?
Not really. I mean, if I was offered, yes, but for 1 year we could not join.
There's a ban.
There's a ban. But I was offered the vice chairmanship of the Flagship projects, and that's when I was.
Eventually, eventually you were.
Lito Osmeña was the chairman.
Oh yeah, right.
Flagship.
And he was vice presidential.
Candidate.
Candidate ni FBR, who didn't know. Yeah, Estrada. It was Estrada who won the vice presidency. Okay. So what was okay? So if there were walang low point during the campaign? Was there a time that you felt baka hindi manalo si FVR?
Hindi. I always knew he was gonna win. Yeah.
Talaga. You knew
Yun lang,
that,
the only doubt I had was how much could they cheat us?
but he won.
We won.
No. Plurality, but still, diba? You won. And you were eventually drafted into the administration, ano?
Yes,
But,
as a
pero medyo-
consultant. Really.
oo.
Flagship.
Pero matagal yata, 2 years ba?
Oh,
Or
mga ganun.
3 years
2 to
after
3 years.
the,
Oo,
after
matagal,
the
matagal.
election. And what was it he asked you to look after? May directions ba? May instructions?
Well, I just continued what Lito started, but it was already the middle of almost the middle of his administration. So I just had to work with what was there already, you know. And of course, bureaucracy is so slow. Because our job was to put them together and hurry them up. So sometimes they would only send their undersecretary, their ASEC. So even if you tell them, so it became it was a bit frustrating for me because of government bureaucracy.
Medyo mabagal gumalaw.
I am a businessman. I want it right away.
Oo nga, iba yung kultura.
Iba-ibang kultura.
Iba yung kultura.
I guess it's like that, and anytime it's like that.
In the so after 2 years, after 2 years yata or 3 years yung appointment mo. So what did you do in the meantime? You went back to business?
I went back to my business and just
Tell me your observations during that period. Was FVR doing, diba? Was he doing it right? Was he
yes, he
on
was.
the job? Was he?
He did a lot. First of all, he opened up the telecoms industry,
There
and
you
then the life insurance industry. It was only Philam who had the license.
Solo lang talaga.
And I would contribute to these inputs through Tony Carpio, who was and Joel Monte. I would meet with them sometimes and give them my ideas. You know? And he did a lot. FVR did a lot because at that time PLDT lang yata ang
Isa lang talaga.
isa lang talaga. So binuksan niya yun. And then Philam Life lang. So binuksan niya yun sa Sun Life and all that.
Yeah, son.
So he had a more open approach to the economy, and he gave the image, we're back in business. The Philippines is back in business.
The image to
To the world.
okay.
And that we're stable, we're under an able leadership, and then I went with him to the trips. Ayan. I would go with him, and he would bring the businessmen. I would go with him.
Oh, you were with ano bang
yeah.
tawag niya doon? Team Philippines.
Oh,
Yun
yes.
yung mga,
Oh,
yung mga
yes,
business.
and then I had my brother also there, Cholo. But that was it. I thought it was a very good experience because we went to Canada, we went to China. Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about the reception that
Very
he
good.
got. Oh.
Very good, because at that time, the impression abroad was still, boy, these people won their democracy bloodlessly, without anybody being killed. At the Philippines at that time, the image was so high.
Yeah.
Very, very high. So, ginaya nga tayo ng mga ibang nasyon eh. People power. Di ba? So, at that time, it was very, they were very receptive to FVR.
Okay. He fancied himself as the country's #1 salesman.
It was true.
tell me
It
why.
was true, because you see, he's very, when he starts something, he's very devoted. He's very dedicated, very systematic, and he has all these books, he has all this data that he presents. And when he would talk, you could see that they would believe him because wala nga siyang agenda. He was a professional, and he projected that image of stability.
So there was a lot of respect, I guess.
Yes, a lot, definitely.
Tell me about the work style.
Complete staff work.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, yeah, but that was all over the cabinet. Complete staff work. You know, tsaka bibingka yan. Bibingka.
Okay.
Lulutuin sa ilalim, tapos lulutuin din dito. Magmi-meet yung dalawa. Hindi okay ka na. Sabi ko. Yan ang mga sinasabi niya sa amin. So when you do something, lutuin mo yung ilalim, lutuin mo rin yung taas. Para mag-meet sa gitna, may bibingka ka na.
The Filipino development formula. Okay. And it did, no? His being the country's salesman brought in a lot of,
Definitely.
drew the attention.
Big results. Yeah.
Kayo, you again from the businessman industrialist standpoint, how did that boost the Filipino entrepreneur, the Filipino community, business community?
In a very big way. It was a ripple effect. A lot of investors wanted to invest here, especially in power plants before. And a lot of... He really gave the message that we are open for business and you'll get a fair deal, a level playing field here.
And again, banking on, I guess, his image, the aura of
Yes,
a
yes.
professional, professional man. Okay. I have to ask you this. Your response to reports from the time that your position as presidential consultant and vice chair of the Flagship projects may have benefited your businesses.
Not really.
Talaga.
Not really. The idea that I could talk to FVR, that I could go straight to him, helped. But we were not able to really. I mean, say that I did not take advantage of that to further our business. It's just that we already had a steel mill project
That was way before pa.
way before, and we thought we could continue it, but before we could do so, Estrada came in. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, right. Okay, let me get to that. Did he? I mean, he turned the lights on again, solved the power crisis, broke the cartels, opened up the economy to more players, and made competition part of the equation. Did he have enough time to do everything?
No.
that he said?
I wish he had enough. He had more time.
But he had only 6 years under the Constitution.
Yes, and everybody wanted him to do a plebiscite to change the Constitution. But I think we dilly-dallied too long.
Oh yeah, there was a. You're right. There was a. You remember People's Initiative?
People's Initiative, yes.
Pirma. Did you participate in that?
Not too actively, but
You were supportive.
yes, of course, of course.
Of the idea that
You know, a president cannot do much in 6 years.
a president or a good man.
Any president, yeah, a good man. A bad man can do a lot of damage in 2 years. But it's really tough because we have to change all the institutions.
And that was really the challenge for him, at that time.
Yeah, even now, it's a big challenge. Corruption is endemic in all levels. All levels of the government. They have a mind of its own. Corruption has a mind of its own.
Yeah. Where could he have focused more, sana? I mean, knowing that he just had 6 years.
I don't know. I always have this. Well, I always have this wish that we could have low cost food,
Lowering the price of food.
the price of food. But that's really market forces. I don't know if a president can do it.
But you did mention that maybe had he started the, or had that, initiative to amend or change the constitution started earlier,
Yes.
could have
Yeah, it could
gained,
have.
gained
I
ground.
think the people would have accepted that.
Talaga.
Yeah.
Earlier sana. Like,
Earlier.
Missed opportunity there.
Yeah, kasi siyempre mahirap din eh, di ba? Marami rin mag-o-oppose dahil gusto
Right,
mga iba, sa power na naman sila.
And in fact, Mrs. Aquino and Cardinal Steel, di ba?
They wanted.
Came out, di ba? They had this rally and all.
Oh.
And then shortly after, FVR decided, or came out with a statement, no, let's focus on
Yeah.
what needs to be done. He had surgery. You remember the
Yes, dito?
Oh.
Carotid, yeah.
Oh. That worried the guy. That worried you guys in the army.
Yes.
Why so?
Well, my God. Everything depended on him. You'll get worried if he has surgery.
Again, maybe another missed opportunity. Did Lakas prepare enough for a succession plan, a transition plan para matuloy sana? I mean, okay, FVR decided I'm not going to, pursue this attempt to amend the Constitution. But there was a break, actually, if you remember.
Yeah.
Joe Divi, RSB, and Lito Osmeña, I think, ran again. Di ba? So,
No, there was a...
or just the two.
Yeah, just
Uh,
no,
JDP.
we had to sort of import Gloria
To become
to become VP.
VP. But she
Joe
was actually
Divinesha.
running, di ba? She was actually running for president
Yeah.
as well, di ba?
Oh, yeah, we had to
Slid
import
down.
her.
Yeah.
We had to import her, and that cost a lot of medyo disjointed kami nun.
But the other thing was,
And then De Villa was supposed to be, di ba? De
Right.
Villa was buying, and then De Venecia, De Villa, ang tagal bago makapili talaga ng
there were just too many
options.
Lakas
Yeah.
presidentiables na, and that broke the chances of the administration.
I think that confused the situation. Yeah. Kasi dapat pa lang siguro 1.5 years pa lang or 2 years pa lang, alam na namin kung sino talaga.
Meron na talaga.
Meron talaga.
Para makapag...
all of us behind them.
So you kept away from that, and then
Yeah.
so 20 years it's passed since then. How have you kept in contact?
With FVR? If he has a birthday, if he has a... yeah. It's like... I consider him like a second father. Yeah.
Really?
My father passed away in 1997 in Hawaii.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And to me, they were sort of alike in the sense that they were principled people, principled men.
And that's what appealed to you, actually.
Yeah,
Sa
I
kanya,
think so.
no?
Yeah, because my father always said, "Money is not the end; it's a means."
And you saw a reflection of
Yes,
that in
Yeah,
FBR.
even the way they would move, it's macro. When they thought it was macro.
That's strategic,
Yeah,
a broad
strategic,
view.
yeah.
Talaga.
Parang ko siya, when my father was gone, at least there's still FBR there who thinks like that.
Talaga?
So kung talagang pwede akong tumakbo doon, just in case.
Oo,
It's good I didn't have to do it.
So he's actually become some sort of a mentor, father image, mentor, advisor.
Well,
Ganun
he
ba?
doesn't know it, but but I would but I had that admiration for him, and I still have it. He thought very broadly and very above the fray. You know.
And when you do meet, anong
Ano, bibiruan kami palagi. Biruan.
Oo nga,
Biruan
parang
kami.
kanina. And you relive, I guess, the the campaign stretch.
Yeah.
The
Oh
campaign
boy,
line.
that was fun.
What do you remember most from of him, of FVR? Meron ka bang ano, singular FBR moment?
Well, well, what I think what I really remember, or what I will treasure is the fact that you're right, somebody thought like my dad. Na talagang for the country, principled na.
I'm curious, was there some key learning or key takeaway that you picked up from him that you eventually took with you and brought it forward into your business, into your professional life, or maybe into your personal life?
Well, to me, he was always the image of stability. Yun ang key. Yung key na talagang nakaplanta siyang ganun. Iba yan. May FVR dyan, safe ang bayan. Safe tayo. Yun ang talaga.
So steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie. Correct.
Okay. What do you want people to remember most about him?
That here was the hero of EDSA. Who loves our country and did everything to level the playing field and grew our economy and our businesses once again and tried to make us a tiger economy and at par or even better than our Asian neighbors. Made us catch up a little bit, no matter how little. We really rose during his time because there was trust.
That's his legacy?
Yes, I think so. And you cannot. There is no corruption that anybody can pinpoint or speak of during his time, and that's really, really a big achievement, especially in this country.
Walang bahid, ano?
Diba?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat.